Hi guys, welcome back to another episode from Health and Nature, and this is Dr. Ahmad Al-Hamra. I've been off for a while for some reasons, so we'll try to keep the videos more consistent. And just to show you where I am right now, I'm right in the middle of the olive trees. They're almost ready to be harvested. We're soon going to start harvesting the olives. I'm going to show you some nice olives here. And let's take a look. Look at this beauty. Beautiful. So they're kind of turning black, they're green turning black, and that's the best time to harvest them, when they're kind of ripening. It's time to harvest them. So next episode will be about olives and olive oil and all the health benefits of olive and olive oil. And I'm happy to say that here we have probably or one of the best quality olives and olive oil in the world. And I say that with confidence because this area, this place where I live in, won awards and contests for high standard and qualities. So in my last episode I spoke about fruit and fructose and the problem that fructose is showing to be the main signaling molecule for the body to produce fat and gain weight, and people who are on a high fructose diet are showing to have all the obesity, the diabetes. I'm not going to repeat what I said in my last episode. You can go ahead and watch it because it's very interesting, and I explained the mechanism how fructose actually makes you gain weight. It's designed like that by nature, by no mistake. So what's the problem again with fructose is we're eating fructose year round. So now we're in mid-November, and 90% of the fruit trees that grow in this area, there's no more fruit on them. No more grapes, no more figs, cactus, all the stuff, the good stuff I showed you last time. But now if I go to the grocery store right now, all these fruits are there in abundance and I can buy them in bulk and eat as much as I want. But is that a good thing? Now, if you've been watching my videos, you'll know what's the answer. It's absolutely not a good thing. It's you're going against nature, and nature designed you to eat fructose for a short period of time, and then you're supposed to go off it. So as I said, the problem with fruits is what we've done to them. So we've actually hybridized them, cultivated them, crossbreed them, geoengineered them to become more sweet and more resilient to weather, and we can get them year round almost. And a lot of fruits are stockpiled frozen or like in fridges, and then they're pulled out of season. Greenhouses, export, and that's one of the main reasons the problem with fruits. But the other thing is the high fructose corn syrup that is almost in every single package you can possibly think of. Any packaged food, processed food, has just tons of high fructose corn syrup, and it's a GMO. And so we're getting fructose year round, and it's causing all the health issues I talked about in my previous episode. Make sure you watch that. And all this information I get is from Dr. Richard Johnson. He's the main main expert on fructose and the health issues it comes with a high fructose diet. So I'm not making this out of my head. I get my sources from reliable places. Now, what was I going to say is, like, as we said, some animals gain weight, but they don't eat fructose, like whales or birds of prey. They're flying above us, or in the fall they migrate from Europe to Africa above this area. And so actually, if you get one, you shoot one or something, they're jam-packed with fat for the long migration and the winter. But they don't eat fruit actually, or the whale doesn't eat fruit, etc., etc. You get what I mean. So that's the shocking part is that, according to Dr. Richard Johnson, our body produces fructose. Now, when I heard him say that, I was totally bummed. Like, what? Like, okay, you're going to try to avoid fructose out of season, but then it turns out your body produces it. Well, then you're kind of stuck. But it's not that bad. If you know what happens, he explains it, and I'll explain it to you just in a nutshell, make it very, very simple. Is that a high glucose diet, so high in sugar, will trigger the production of fructose in your body. And eventually the fructose will produce the cascade of lowering the mitochondria. So ATP goes down and all these extra calories is shunted to fat, and it's done like that by design. The other thing, which was more of a shocker also, is a high salt diet actually produces makes the body produce fructose. And he tested it on rats and lab animals. He gives them a high salt diet. So two groups of rats, bi-identical. As I said, both group of rats were on a high salt diet, but the group of rats that was manipulated not to produce fructose didn't gain weight, while the other one did gain weight and manifested all the symptoms of a high fructose diet. And he said also that a high glucose diet and a high salt diet produces dehydration, and dehydration also triggers the body to produce fructose. So now again, salt is important, but we know our food is oversalted, and especially again the processed, the packaged food, a lot of sodium, a lot of high fructose corn syrup, so double yummy. And again, it's a ton of reasons not to mention the MSG. I'm not going to go into that. I've talked about them in previous episodes, so you all know about it if you've been following. So processed foods, absolute no-no at all times of the year. Fruits, in season, in moderation, perfect. I'm going to eat them. And the problem with obesity is it's not only fructose, it's also the artificial light and electromagnetic fields. But I'll go into that in a different episode. For now, let's stick to the food. So people who are interested in different diets might stumble upon something called the fruitarian or fruitarian diet. And it's where people mainly eat fruits. So how is that, and how do these people, or vegan people, they're also from this category, but the fruitarian people only eat fruits. Now, I haven't met a pure fruitarian person, but I don't think it's healthy for you, and I'm going to tell you why. If it was, they swear that it's the correct diet of the human being. Say if the grocery stores were to go and there wouldn't be any import-export, they'd die the next day. They wouldn't have anything to eat. If fruits were our natural diet year-round, let them go out and find fruits in autumn and winter and let them survive. They won't make it. People who live on the equator, let's say in Mexico, Hawaii, Costa Rica, something like that, where, see, that's the thing, when do fruits grow? When there's long light cycles, right? So when you're living on the equator, you have fruits more available year round. There are seasons also for fruits there, but you more or less get it year round. It's less detrimental if you're living in nature. Say you're getting the correct sunlight, you're living outside, and you eat a lot of fruits on the equator because it's the right environment. It won't be that bad for your health. But if you live in Northern Europe or Northern America, say Sweden, Norway, or Canada, Russia, if you're going to be a fruitarian there, or even a vegan, it's not good. We can go into that in a different discussion, but it's absolutely very unnatural. Veganism didn't exist. It's a new thing for ethical reasons. We're not going to go into that. Vegetarians did exist, but they lived where? In India, on the equator, not in the north. There was no way people would have survived on fruits and vegetables and living in the north areas or the cold areas of the world. Absolutely no, even till now. Until, again, grocery stores started greenhouses and artificial ways of producing food and processed food. So, sorry to burst your bubble. I know I have a lot of vegan friends, vegetarian friends, and we can agree, disagree. We can argue with mutual respect. That's fine. That's my perspective. So if you don't agree with that, that's absolutely fine. But I'm saying my point of view that veganism and fruitarianism, these are new diets, and you can only live on them in the new modern artificial world. As I said in the title of the video, that the winter that never comes, what I meant by that is we're not experiencing a real winter ever anymore. You think it's a good thing, actually, but it turns out that it's not. We need to experience the true forces of the seasons. See, like a rabbit or a wolf, you can see them when they change their fur from brown to white with perfect synchronization with the seasons. And as I said, fructose is a signaling molecule. So it tells your body that it's the end of summer, and soon it's going to be autumn and winter, where there's going to be scarcity of food, cold, and you need to pack on weight to live off this fat during the winter. But because we know we have fructose year round for all the reasons I explained, and we're always warm, and your body is kind of, the metabolism, the programming of the body is kind of a little bit off, and it accumulates year after year after year, so we're never experiencing really a true winter, and it's detrimental to our health. And the simplest thing is just stop fructose, especially when it's out of season. No fruits, no packaged foods, especially in the winter times. You'll do yourself a big favor. It's very simple. And that's why a ketogenic diet is really healthy, especially now in autumn and in winter. And you need to go off ketosis beginning of spring, summer. We'll talk about that later. But just wanted to clear that out, that we're not experiencing a true winter anymore.